Things I think about: that, candy, soda.
Comic books and candy and soda.
Oh, that would be a great. Like, I don't know. There's a concept
There's something
there.
to that, yeah. Because we did try it, like, whatever, you said 11 o'clock, they'd like to say what kind of beer they're drinking.
Oh, vintage candy.
But if we did candy, I don't know if I need that, but I do want it. All right, let's dig in.
Let's dig in. I just got the music going. Yeah, we're started. Hi, and welcome to Seattle's #1 comic book podcast, the podcast that is dedicated to the first issue of your next favorite comic, episode 91. I'm Larry.
I'm James.
And this week we have a good one. James, tell us what we read.
Well, I was going to try to make some kind of joke based off the title, but I didn't think of one. East and West.
We went north-south, but we ended up east and west.
We're from the Northwest, and this is about the East-West.
Actually, this is about the whole country.
Yeah, East of West.
East of West.
It's really everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's a good title, but I don't know what it means yet.
Oh.
Like, I know that it's going to have a lot more significance as, like, we read more. And I do know a little bit about it, but, like, it's definitely interesting. East of West.
East of West. And what do you think of this cover?
That's all right.
I think this
cover.
cover
A lot of white.
It's a lot of white, but it's so graphic with that muted green. It's graphic. It's a Jonathan Hickman cover.
I almost don't like the cover. It doesn't grab you.
Really?
Or it doesn't grab me. I mean, like, I guess maybe in the context of a bunch of other comic book covers, it'll stand out because it's very simple and plain and almost empty.
Right. Yeah,
it's got on the bottom half or the top half, there's like a gunman. You can see like just the tip of his nose, and everything else is shaded under his hat. And he's got a gun pointed at you. And then the bottom half is just white, and it says East of West. Pretty plain. But
I like these Jonathan Hickman covers. And then when you flip into the interior, it maintains that graphic pop, like very simple graphic pop.
I actually, for one of the first times, have a physical copy.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, I got it at the store.
Yeah, so it's probably it's toothy paper too, huh? It's got some.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of regular paper.
Oh, that sounds thicker than regular paper. Most comics come on like practically tissue paper nowadays.
Oh no, you're right. This is better than that, but it's regular. I'd say it's kind of regular.
So we're talking about East of West, written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Nick Drocado, Frank Martin doing colors, and Russ Wooton doing the letters. We never talk about the letters and the colors.
We do talk about the colors, Larry. What are you talking about?
Well, sometimes we talk about the colors. Well, but in this case,
we don't talk about the letters, though. You're right.
We don't talk about the people who do the letters and colors. So shout out Frank Martin.
Yeah,
Russ
I always like it when there's a colorist.
Yeah, so
color is very important.
Color is very important, unless it's a black and white comic.
Unless it's black and white, then it's also important.
Like, yeah, explain yourself.
The eye. Well, because the black and white is a color choice.
Right.
To go black and white, it's a deliberate choice based on color. But it's just a very simple choice, and you only make it once.
Right. So the colorist is working here because everything is got a shade to it. They're working with more than 4 colors here.
Yeah, it's so for those avid listeners of the podcast, we've done a few Jonathan Hickman comics so far. We've done Manhattan Project. We've done
Manhattan Project.
What was the other one, Larry?
I know that we've done another Jonathan Hickman book.
Did he do the astronauts one? No. It was the Dead and Dying and the Dead.
Dying and the Dead, thank you.
Dying and the Dead.
Oh, he gets great artists, doesn't he?
So he gets very good artist and very strong colorist, or like the coloring in those books is like really stands out. And similarly in this book, we got really strong coloring.
Yeah, this is great stuff. This is a really great artist working here. The pencils or the pens and the inks just really, really stand out. And the story. And
Hickman, like what I like about Hickman is he uses color as part of the story. Like he uses it to tell the story. So like in some of our other, Manhattan projects, he'll have like the bad guys or like the bad guys plot, the whole thing is in red.
Showing red.
The good guys, it's all blue. Or in Dead and the Dying, like the whole panel will be a color, like a different color for different types of settings. And in here, we get these really cool characters without color.
Yeah.
And it really makes them stand out and it makes them my favorite characters.
They are very cool characters. They're my favorite characters too. They look so awesome. But they're not the characters that we meet in the very beginning.
And I don't know who the main character is. Because usually I like to start off with the main character.
Right,
but there isn't necessarily one right away.
So, were you, like, I don't want to insult your intelligence, but I had a hard time. I've read this 3 times now. I get the broad strokes.
Yep. Me too.
And what we have here is it's an alternate American history where the Civil War happens.
Yes.
But it stays happening. It doesn't end until a meteorite comes and puts all of the, I don't know, I'm losing traction.
It makes
here.
everyone have to call a truce for some reason. Like everyone decides to call a truce. But it's not just the Civil War where it's the North and the South. There's like 5 groups that are represented.
Seven nations end up,
or 7 nations.
They divide the country into 7 different nations.
Yeah, and so the Native Americans are one, the North and the South, and I don't know what the other ones are. It's a good hook for the future. I mean, I guess we kind of know which ones they are.
Yeah, there's a New
Just
Shanghai on the.
Yeah, there's an Asian guy.
And then there's Texas. They have their own.
Oh, okay.
And yeah. I think I got that from the from actually reading the first trade, but I went back and I refreshed myself with the Wikipedia page because there's a lot to take in here.
Yeah, so it starts like it kind of introduces these almost like leaders of each of these categories. So there's like the wise Native American Red Cloud is the chief of chiefs. And there's like the Elijah, who's like the prophet for Texas, I guess. And there's the
Chow Ming, what's his name?
The Asian guy.
Yeah, the Asian guy.
Sorry. And then the guy who fought under Stonewall Jackson for the South. And they're all like these leader type people who have like they have a revelation at the same time, like at the meteor struck, and then there was this truce, and then all these leaders had like a prophecy and died at the same time. Is kind of what I got.
Yeah, I got
so
that too.
There's some kind of connection between all of these things, but it's not explicitly said.
Right. Now, all of that would seem like it was inside of the real world. These people seem to be human.
Yes.
They seem to, have backgrounds and histories and are of this earth. Now, this is where it gets a little off the rails for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is middle story that we just told. And the front story is 3 members of, and they're not the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse yet. These are just children climb out of a hole.
It looks like a Stonehenge kind of thing.
And I gotta get back
like
to
almost like they were called. Oh yeah, I guess we skipped it. It's like the very beginning we skipped. Yeah, they're like summoned at this Stonehenge type thing with these. I get they're not really weird symbols; they're just triangles.
Yeah.
But only 3 of them appear, and there's like an empty. The fourth of these. I guess you call them like a demon almost.
Yeah, these, but they're little kids and they look very demon-like. Maybe like they're preteens.
Yeah, and I say demon-like, I'm not sure they're good or bad, but they're definitely like they're like born of sticky muck. They don't look good.
They don't look good. And
would you say they look evil?
I think they look evil, and I think they even talk a little bit about being evil. They're asking each other as to where their fourth partner is, and we learn more about him later.
And they use some kind of mysticism to figure it out.
And then and then the one guy who looks maybe like the leader of these 3 people says, we plan to kill him. So
I guess they're trying to kill the 4th member.
If he's not with us, he didn't come with us, we're going to kill him. And that's not something a good person would say. I think these are bad. Yeah, these are bad people.
The expression on his face when he says it almost makes it seem like it's just like, I guess that's the rules. Like I'm just following, like this is the way that like it was written in the book of forever, and we're just these. Like it doesn't seem like it's as a punishment.
Right.
I don't know.
It's very matter of fact that we plan to kill.
Perfect. Matter of fact. That face is totally matter of fact.
And so in the summary of this book, we're told that it's the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. There's only 3 of them here. So I'm imagining that these are the 3 of the 4 horsemen, and so there's death, war, famine, conquest, and
is that always the 4 horsemen?
Yes, I think so.
I didn't know that. Death, conquest, war, and what?
Famine.
So
I'm trying to figure out which one.
What's the difference between conquest and war?
Well, it's conquest or pestilence. Those 2 go together. Again, I'm just reading right off the Wikipedia page. I'm not this smart, man.
Yeah, that's I'll have to do a little side research on this too, because that's interesting. It's a strange division.
Yeah, I'm looking at each one of these figures and wondering which one's which.
Which one's which? Yeah. Well, it looks like the girl is probably like disease or pestilence. She's kind of decaying. Like she has those weird black eyes and her mouth is kind of falling apart.
And like the hunkier one might be war, because he's got some girth to him. He looks savage.
Yeah, and then the blue one's kind of more bulky.
Yeah,
I don't know. Tough to tell.
It's tough to tell, but I feel as though
it'll get revealed.
It will get
revealed.
A hook. It is. Yeah, these are all great hooks. But as when we meet our Clint Eastwood character towards the end of the book, I think we know who he is.
Yo, you do. I didn't really think about it. I was more sometimes I just let a hook sit and I don't try to figure it out. I'm just like, I bet I'll figure this out eventually.
So we get this.
He is our Clint Eastwood character is white, and these characters are green, red, and blue. So it does make me think that a color will reveal this 4th horseman.
Oh, I did not even see that. I just see this guy and I know who he is. And the
so should we get to our middle story of our cowboy in white?
Yeah. So now cut to the future. This is obviously the future. I guess we don't really quite see this, but like the garb is definitely changed here.
Yeah, it's futuristic. Like he's a cowboy and he kind of looks out of place, even though he's in a saloon with the swinging doors. Because he's with there's like these Union guys and they have like kind of futuristic military stuff, and this guy's got like a robot eye.
Yeah.
Patch. type thing.
And so it's a dusty bar, and he's rode in